Hey, what's up guys? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 VPN buzzwords that don't really mean all that much. Hey guys, just a reminder to check out vpntierlist.com. It's a collection of all my ratings on the channel, and you're going to find lots of helpful information here on how to choose a VPN. Anyways, back to the video. Now, VPNs as a product, as a software themselves, are pretty over marketed. There's a lot of things that VPN companies will do to try to get you to trust them. Now, you might be thinking, well, why are VPNs trying to get you to trust them so much? Well, that's because it's the core fundamental thing a VPN wants to do. VPNs in a lot of ways are based on trust. After all, you're buying the service to protect your privacy. So if you can't trust your VPN, what are you buying? So VPNs are always trying to get people to trust them. But I think there are a lot better ways to do it than, what most VPNs do. I'm going to talk about 5 VPN buzzwords or ways that VPNs try to get you to trust them. And then I'm going to talk about some ways that I think would actually get you to trust them instead. So guys, one of the first things that I see VPNs do, now not that many, mind you, is openly be like, hey, we're open source. That means you can trust us. Well, hate to break it to you, but most VPNs out there are using a protocol called OpenVPN. OpenVPN itself is an open source protocol. So basically what most VPN applications are, it's just some graphical user interface surrounded by this OpenVPN kind of protocol. So saying that your applications and stuff like that are open source, well, it's just like, okay, so the graphical interface is open source. Is that really that cool? I don't really know if that's really that big of a deal. It's just a graphical user interface with some settings maybe around there, here and there. However, the backend code that's running on the servers, I don't think any open source based VPN has open sourced their backend code. So until that happens, it doesn't really mean that much to me. Number 2 would be audits. A lot of VPNs out there are trying to get people to trust them more by saying, hey, we got audited. You could trust us. Everything we're saying is what we're saying. Some spy agency doesn't have hidden code in us. Our legal jurisdiction, whoever owns our company, all of our code, we don't collect logs, yada, yada, yada. When in fact, I don't really think this means that much either. A VPN can easily plan an audit. They could choose a specific company. They can prepare for it. They can alter their code. They can alter their logging policy. They can alter all sorts of things about their company before the audit happens. And then when the audit happens, everything's shiny and clean. And then once the audit company goes away, well, let's back to whatever we were doing before the audit came up. So I don't really think audits really mean that much. And also, I honestly think that audits don't cover enough stuff. If a VPN company really wanted to do a good job with the audit, here are some things that I think should happen. A VPN company wouldn't be able to get to choose who audits them. It would just be some kind of random company that's not affiliated or associated with the VPN company at hand. The VPN company should know nothing about the audit. Not only that, but the audit should be totally spontaneous. It should happen at a time of the year where the VPN company doesn't expect it, or they shouldn't be able to prepare for it at all. Not only that, but the audit should provide more transparency about the VPN company itself. It shouldn't just be like, well, yeah, this VPN doesn't collect logs. The audit itself should include information about who owns the company history, all sorts of things that aren't really publicly known from users. For most of the popular VPNs out there, we don't really know who owns them. We don't really know where all their headquarters are. All we are really given is some information about, it's based somewhere in Panama or the British Virgin Islands or something like that. I think audits should provide more transparency, but in fact, all they end up really doing is just giving the VPN who got an audit ability to be able to brag about it. Like, hey, we got audited. You can trust us now. I don't really think that's how it should work. Another way that VPNs market themselves to trust them, another buzzword kind of category, would be saying that they're based outside of the 14 Eyes. I see so many VPN providers like ProtonVPN. Hey, we're based in Switzerland. You could trust us. Or NordVPN. Hey, we're based in Panama. You could trust us. ExpressVPN. Hey, we're based in British Virgin Islands. You could trust us. It goes on down the list. When in fact, I don't really think this has much to do with it at all. Because most people who are using VPNs, consumer-grade VPNs, are torrenting, unblocking streaming restrictions, getting more privacy from their ISP, or trying to avoid mass surveillance. Most people who are using VPNs aren't going to be terrorists or anyone else who is worried about spy agencies. So the fact that these VPNs are claiming that people should be thinking about spy agencies and stuff like that is misleading, because most of these VPNs, when it comes down to it, push to shove, would give up information about users. In fact, one of the companies I mentioned, Proton VPN, who always is bragging about how it's based in Switzerland, its company Proton Mail has given up people to the authorities that were doing criminal activity on Proton Mail. So in fact, it just goes to prove that it doesn't really mean that much for people. If you're a criminal using a software outside of the 14 eyes, you can still get in trouble. If you're a criminal using software inside the 14 eyes, you can still get in trouble. The bottom line is 14 eyes doesn't really mean anything at all. It's just a buzzword that VPNs use to try to get you to trust them over other ones. Be like, hey, since we're based outside the 14 eyes, not that many other VPNs are, that means you could trust us more. I think that's disingenuous. Another thing is that sometimes VPNs will try to band together, work together in some kind of public group, kind of like the VPN Trust Initiative. Now, the VPN Trust Initiative is just kind of a public group or a collection of VPNs kind of pledging to promote privacy and stuff like that. Now, it's just kind of like a marketing thing. It's just kind of like a public relations kind of thing. Do these VPNs really have to do anything? Are they really creating anything or developing anything or providing more transparency? Not really. They're just kind of forming a group and saying, hey, go privacy. Lastly, bug bounty programs. I think they're generally a good thing to have. However, just because a VPN has a bug bounty program doesn't mean that it's free of bugs or anything like that. All it means is that it's looking for people to find bugs with it, so that way it can avoid a PR disaster. Now, I'm not saying that VPNs that have bug bounty programs are automatically not trustworthy, because I do think overall it's a good idea to make your software more secure. But on the other hand, I think bragging about a bug bounty program and bragging how effective it is not very genuine, because you don't really want your bug bounty program to be that effective. If your bug bounty program is super effective, that means people are finding a lot of bugs with your application, and it means you have a lot of work to do to stop getting the bug bounty program to be effective. People shouldn't be finding that many bugs. You shouldn't be paying that many people to find bugs, because there shouldn't be that many bugs at all, period. Now, I do think there are some things VPNs could do to make themselves more trustworthy, maybe stuff that is not a buzzword, but that could mean something. I think VPNs could certainly have more consumer-friendly practices. Let's say VPNs give it longer refund policies, maybe a 90-day refund policy instead of 30 days. You don't really see that many VPNs offering that. You don't see any VPNs prorating things. So let's say you bought a year of VPN, you only use 6 months, you would get prorated for the rest of the time. You don't see any VPNs doing that at all. I think another thing that would be really cool is ownership transparency. So let's say you buy a VPN, you should be able to know more about the company. You should be able to know more about who owns it, the different layers of the company, the different headquarters, company history. Just more overall transparency about the company itself would be really nice. Another thing is, I wish more VPN companies were more transparent about how much money they're making and where they're spending their money. Let's say a VPN company would be more transparent about admitting how much they're paying for marketing, how much they're paying for software development, how much they're spending on YouTubers to show their service, etc., etc. I really don't think that would ever happen, but it would be pretty cool to see that happen, actually. I think another cool thing would be that VPN's company could have more transparency with how they deal with criminals. Now, of course, this could be a legal kind of hard area to just kind of say, oh, we caught this amount of criminals or whatever like that. We gave up this amount of people. But I do think that in most cases, when VPNs gave up logs on users, it wasn't the VPN itself admitting this. Usually someone else found about it and then broke it to the news. And most of the time when a VPN gives up logs on users, it's not like they're telling people about it. I think it would be more interesting and more transparent, friendly to tell its user base when the VPN itself had to give up logs and stuff like that, if it ever did. So that would be pretty cool, I think. Okay guys, that's about it for this long video. Thanks for getting it to the end. If you make it to the end, write down in the comments down below, man Tom, why are you so great today? Just kidding, love the video. Alright guys, thanks for seeing this one, and I'll see you again on the next one very soon.